Hi, this is Mike, WB4HUC, and I thought I would just share a little bit about some of the code keys and things that I've used. So, I've been a CW operator since I got my novice license back in 1971, except for a few years when I had my technician class license. And when I had my technician license, you gave up your novice privileges and you were allowed VHF, UHF only. So I didn't really operate CW much during those years, but then I got my general class license and went back to CW. So here's just a few of the keys that I've collected. I'm not a real big key or paddle collector, but I do have a few. Nothing real elaborate, but I thought I'd share them today. So this is probably the one I've had the longest. It's a Kent straight key, and I've had it for 30 years, maybe. I've had it a long, long time. And it still works very well today. I haven't taken the brasso to it in quite a while. As you can see, it's pretty dull, the metal parts. But it works fine, and I keep it in place in front of the radio right now, and I still use it even today. So again, this is a Kent straight key that, if I recall right, came as sort of a kit. You had to put it together, which I did. And as you can see, there's nothing unusual about it, but it's nice and heavy. The wooden base has I think there's a lead weight inside the wooden base that's held in place by this piece that connects to the bottom. And then otherwise it's just a pretty traditional straight key, but I've had it a long time. I like it and I use it a lot. So that's the first one. So we're just kind of going in order here of the ones I've had the longest. I'll show first, and then the others I'll show, as they get newer, we'll get down to that end of it too. So this is a Kent dual paddle, and I've also had for a very long time. And again, I haven't taken the brasso to it in quite a while. And in fact, this is old and sort of new, because a few years ago I ordered this piece, which had actually kind of worn out on the original. So I sent off to Kent in England and ordered this piece here, which they sent to me, and I put it in place, and it's working fine. Again, it's a little dusty, and I haven't really shined it up much at all in the last few years, but it works as well. And I tend to use this on I have two radios. I have a Ten-Tec Omni 7 that I consider my main station radio, and I have an ICOM IC7300. And this is sort of now the secondary paddle to my secondary rig. But again, it's pretty old, but it works well, and I do like it. So the next paddle that I've had, probably the third longest, is this Palm Mini paddle that I bought to use with my Yaesu FT817. I've had two FT817s. One I bought in the early 2000s and sold it. And then 6 or 7 years ago, I bought an FT817ND, which I still have. And this is the paddle I use with that radio. So this is the paddle. This one is serial number 0248. And you can see if you push the button here and then push that, it'll collapse. And sort of the inner part will slide inside the outer part. And it's got little rubber feet on it, but I bought or maybe it came with it. It's been so long. I've had this thing over 20 years. But it's got these little magnets in this little base and some rubber feet, if you want to call them that, on the base to stick to things. So it'll stick to the top of the FT817. Or, and the way you do this is I just hook this here in the front and then push the back. It snaps into place, and now it's all one piece. And then from C.W. Morse, I bought this base. It's just a painted metal base, and it also has 4 rubber feet, and the paddle will stick to this base. So I'll just sort of position this kind of in the middle and line it up, and then, I turn it upside down, the magnets will stick to it. So there you go. So I've got this metal base that I bought from C.W. Morse here in Texas to go underneath my Palm Mini paddle with the magnets. And the base holds everything pretty steady. So I can operate this paddle now without having to use one finger to hold it down. I'm left-handed, so I use a finger on my right hand to hold it down, and then I operate the paddle with my left hand, but this is better. So I now have this base for this paddle that I can use with it. The next oldest paddle is this Bengali magnetic that I've had 3 years, 4 years, and it's a little dusty. You can see a little dust in here between here and here. There's a little dust in there. So again, I need to probably clean it up a little bit. But this is a magnetic paddle. It doesn't use springs. It uses magnets. And I like this a lot. This is my paddle that I use pretty much every day with the Omni 7. And I do like it a lot. And the cable connects through this 1/8" stereo connector here is how the cable is connected. And then if you look at the bottom, you can see how it's connected. The connector's here, and it goes to the posts through this piece of wire that's soldered to those terminals. And then you've got the little, again, feet. So this is I suppose my main instrument for sending Morse code. And again, I need to keep things a little bit cleaner, but that's the way it goes. And then recently, I don't know why, but I got a wild hair that I wanted a new paddle. So I looked at these C.W. Morse 3D printed paddles, saw a couple of YouTube videos, went to their website, cwmorse.us, and ordered one with the base. As far as I can tell, this base is the same as the base I'm using for the Palm Mini paddle. But these are 3D printed. They do have metal parts, of course, where they're needed. And for the adjustments are here and here. And then another one here. And they give you this Allen key or this Allen wrench that's stored with the paddle. So there's a place here. You can see right there to store the Allen wrench. And I like this a lot. I use this on the air after I got it. It's a nice paddle for the money, and this might even replace the Palm Mini paddle on my FT817. I'm toying with the idea of getting this Zygu, is it? G90, 20-watt radio. And this would be the paddle that I would use for that radio if I ended up getting one. But this is another paddle that I like a lot. It's got this nice base, and it works well. And then the last key is a key, not a paddle, also from C.W. Morse. So it's just a small straight key, again 3D printed with plastic and metal parts, and again it comes with a place to store the Allen wrench, and it comes with the means to adjust the tension and the spacing, and this little base. And the base isn't real heavy, but it doesn't need to be, because you're not moving it sideways, you're moving it up and down. And so this also works well. It's going to take me some time to get used to it, because I'm used to the Kent straight key, which is much heavier, much bigger. So a little bit of a learning curve for me to get the hang of this straight key, but I will be putting it on the air as soon as I feel confident enough with it to put it on the air. And then here are the binding posts for the connections to the radio. Nice key, nice key. I just got to get used to the feel of the thing, and then put it on the air and make some contacts. So that's it. Just a sort of a look at my small collection of keys and paddles. And been licensed for a long time, and I've had a couple of these for a very long time. But I just thought I'd throw this out there for whatever entertainment value you might get from it. So, again, it's Mike, WB4HUC, and thank you for watching.